What do my gente boys coming through once again with a new video? And based on the current events that are happening right now in the US with the mass deportations, right? Everybody being sent to their countries or to whatever country, right? I found it what best moment to share my experience as me being deported and tell you different events, right? Through videos, which I'm gonna be dropping, and hopefully it can give you an idea of what is the process. And for those who are worried, for those who are scared, man, I just want to tell you that it's not over. You know, I was in the same situation. I haven't been in Mexico for years, man, for years. Uh, so far it's been 3 years here, and I started a business. The business is almost gonna have 3 years as well, and with the hard work, with the drive, and the commitment, right, to make something out of nothing, that business is still running, right? Now, what I want to share is that I was scared. I was in the same situation, right? Basically, being in the U.S. from an early age, my family became citizens except me because I was involved in other things that led me to doing things that I shouldn't have done, right? Now, I committed a crime. I was put away for 15 years, and during the process, I had an ICE detention center. I had an ICE hold. I mean, so when they interview in prison, right? They usually the ICE come to that prison, and they already know who they're gonna call. They ask you questions like, okay, what's your security number, social security number, your information, where were you born, blah 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 blah. Depending on how he wants to act or the information that he got, he's gonna decide if he's gonna put a hold on you or not. If you are a citizen and they put a hold on you, you better try to fix that, because if not, trust me, you're gonna go to that detention center and you're gonna have to prove that you're a citizen. Yes, you're gonna be able to prove it, but that's gonna be an extra 3 weeks that you don't want to have, right? This goes to everybody out there in the public that you don't have to be in prison, but I'm gonna tell you what is the process and how it happened to me. So yeah, I had the detention center. I had the ICE hold, right? And it came the point for me to be released, right? So I was hoping that I was like, you know what? Hopefully I get released. I already know what I was gonna do, and didn't happen, right? So usually those people get released. Eventually they get picked by ICE in those sweeps, in where they say, oh, we're getting criminals. Well, yeah, you're getting the guys who actually parole from prison that you didn't pick up, man. But you do have their address. Now, for me, we went to Fresno, California. My story from California, right? So we went to Fresno, California. There's like some kind of detention center right there. So right there, I seen people coming from the streets, right? I see people with regular clothes, and mind me, it's the first time, I mean, seeing people from the streets, like regular, not my family members, right? So other than that visiting room. But I was like, damn, that's sad, because I seen families crying how, I mean, their family member was going to be deported. And I have to ask questions about what was going to be the process, right? And they told me all kinds of, okay, the following day you're going to get kicked out or whatever. And it didn't work like that. So in that place, right, you have to go through a process. Whenever your case number pops up or whatever, they're going to call you. And they're going to ask you to sign a waiver. So this waiver is basically saying that you waive your rights to see a judge or whatever. And what the agent told me is that basically, if you waive your rights, you're probably gonna get kicked out early, right? And a lot of people were signing those things. I signed it, but it didn't work out like that for me. And I'm gonna explain to you why. So once that thing was full, they went through everybody. We had like two vans full of people. So we started driving south. The next stop was going to be McFarland, and then it was going to be Bakersfield. The Bakersfield detention center is almost like the one in Fresno, where they just process you, and eventually from Bakersfield, you go to downtown LA. For downtown LA, against a process that it's not even the process now no more in downtown LA, but it's just it's a waiting moment for you to get kicked out to TJ, for those who are going to be deported to Mexico, right? Now, when I went to McFarland, I noticed that basically right there I noticed that I wasn't not gonna go all the way to Bakersfield. So it meant that I was gonna stay actually at a facility that was housing illegals that had to go through the process of seeing a judge, right? And I was like, hold on, well, why I have to go if I sign my waiver? Well, the thing is this: first time going through the process. Also, I had papers. I had a residence. I had to actually present my case in front of a judge, man, and be like, I don't want it, you know. Now the other people who've been deported many times, that their name's already in the system, or somebody who didn't have a residency, first time going through the process, man, they're gonna get kicked out ASAP, right? ASAP. They don't got nothing to do with it unless you been coming in multiple times. Now you have to, or not even multiple times. Basically, sometimes when people commit a crime, right? They give you, okay, don't come back for 10 years, 20 years, or life, right? Now, my case, it was life. I'm not allowed to go to the U.S. for life. Now, based on that, based on the crime that you committed, if you cross back to the U.S., you're going to do some federal time based on the crime that you committed, right? That's going to say, okay, you're going to do 3 years, 5 years, 10 years in the in federal prison. 10 years. Imagine for that. Like, hell no. That's why I'm not even trying to go over there. I'm cool right here. I'm doing my stuff, and that's it. So those guys who actually crossed and got busted again, and they were banned for whatever amount of years, and now they're looking at federal time, they're going to stay right there. So I was a handful of us that stay right there. And again, it was the first time going through our process. And now we had to wait right there. I believe it was 3 weeks. So not everybody who signed those papers stayed right there. Now, in this detention center, right, it's usually a bunch of beds. There was not even bunks. Maybe some places going to have bunks. But right here in McFarland, it was basically pots. And they had nothing but beds. They give you those tablets so you can talk to your family. The money that they gave me, it was put into my books, and from right there, I was able to buy food, or I was able to buy time in the tablets, stuff like that. But also, your family out there can put money into your books for you to buy whatever you need to buy, right? Now, the process took 3 weeks. So in 3 weeks, we have to see the judge. Once you see the judge, we basically say, okay, I waive all my rights. I don't want to fight for my case. Now, once you do that, right, that's when within, I think, 3 days, basically you're going to catch the next van, and you're bouncing out of there. Now, if you're going to fight your case, you're going to stay right there for however time you can, right? Unless they can give you like basically more like a bond. Like you can pay like a bond for you to fight your case from the streets, right? And it's gonna depend what is your case, right? And if they're gonna give you that to you. But again, if your people got picked up on the streets, got sent to this facility, right? You can pay a bond once they see a judge, and they're gonna give him a certain amount of money, and then you pay, and he gets to get released and fight his case from the streets. Now they think that you're flight risk or something, they're probably not gonna give you that. And I've seen people right there being locked up, being in the system like for 1-2 years already, fighting their case, right? That thing sucks. So I was like, nah, I'm cool on this. So now I went to see my judge. A lot of people went to see the judge, and we were like, nope, we want to get kicked out. There's one individual who decided to fight his case, and he was going on something about his inferior's life because his family did this and whatever. And I don't know what happened with Deporte, but us eventually within 2 or 3 days, got a ride to LA County or downtown LA to get kicked out to TJ. But this was not it, right? So usually they picked us up in the morning, right? My family was able to send. You can send people, your family member, like your phones, clothes, or whatever you want them to have, except and they're not gonna give them the phone. They're gonna give them all that when they get released. One thing they were trying to do is like, oh, you can't have phones, but they can't send you the phone, man. That was like the big misunderstanding. Okay, no, you cannot send a phone because of this, whatever. But I got my phone, and when I got released to TJ, I was able to get in my phone and call whoever I needed to call. Right, first time having a phone in a long time. Now, once in the morning we get sent to Bakersfield, and my family thought, okay, you know what? Today they're gonna release him. He's gonna be it's a long process. So from McFarland to Bakersfield, it's just a couple hours. Well, we were right there in Bakersfield for a long ass time. I think we left like 10 or maybe at midnight, because we are waiting for people to fill up the tanks or whatever, so we can get those two vans again and take them a full to downtown LA. Right? It's a one process. They do everybody in one process, so we have to wait for everybody. So we were right there for many hours, from the morning all the way to 10 or 12 at night. And then my family didn't know what to do, right? They were calling the facility and they're saying, okay, he's not no longer in record, whatever. But they were not giving information of, okay, well, what happened? Where are you gonna send them? Because the thing about the fear about many of Mexican is that you don't know in what border they're gonna put you, right? If they want to be assholes, they can send you to a different one, right? We got lucky enough that they send us TJ, and it was a long process. Right there, they didn't let us use the phone in Bakersfield because I guess the phone was broken, so we couldn't use the phone. We couldn't call our people saying, hey man, you know what, I'm on this detention center in Bakersfield, and it seems it's gonna be a long time. So my people were already waiting for me at the border, thinking that I was gonna be right there any minute. No, usually it's gonna take like 24 hours, not even 24 hours, because I think by 8 in the morning the following day, we were already in TJ. So from right there, we went to downtown LA. Downtown LA. Both for them in Bakersfield, we had to go. They do the whole fingerprints and stuff like that. They basically is you process, right? They just want to make sure you're legit. Make sure they get your fingerprints for everything, and now you're good to go. You go to downtown LA. Downtown LA is basically, hey man, you guys are ready, and within I think 2 or 3 hours, we're ready to get sent to San Diego and get crossed to TJ. And it was a long process, man. It was a long process, but right there, we just saw a lot of people from different places, people from prison, people from state and federal prison, and also from the streets, right? And it was an experience, man. The only thing that we didn't like is that you can use the phones in Bakersfield. Once I was in downtown LA, I was able to call my people and be like, hey, you know what? Within, I don't know how long it's going to take, but maybe 3-4 hours, we should go, and we are going to cross the border, man. They're going to kick us out. Now, in Mexico, once they receive you, once they push you out, you have to go through a process as well. There's going to be a lady who's going to receive you, and basically, they're going to ask you, hey, man, okay, from what town you are, what city and stuff like that, where you're born, and where were you born, and any kind of different informations that they can have, right? They can also ask you why you were deported, and at the end of the day, man, if you want to answer that, it's up to you, man. You don't have to answer them. You have to give them your full history, man, because at the end of the day, what does it matter, right? But that was my experience going through the process, and again, hopefully this can help people out there and bring some awareness, right? Bring some awareness, because a lot of people don't know what happens when you go through the process. But we're going to be dropping other videos when that has to do with this, and how was my life, or how did I took being in a country that I didn't know that much about. So with this being said, we are out to next video. Muchas gracias.